Hi, gorgeous. Beautiful to see you. Oneness evolving out here in my front garden where it is autumn, my favourite season, and just listen. Hear the sound of the insects? I love that. I could just sit out here and I don't know what it is. I just love that sound. It's very soothing. Right now, I'm going to show you the garden and try not to talk too much so you can hear the insects. So, I enjoy this. I've forgotten the name of this plant, but its foliage is starting to turn. It's just going a lighter green at the minute. It drops all its leaves. Oh look, we've got a little snail. And the sky is blue, and the maple's starting to drop its leaves. I mean, that's what happens. And this bed down here is actually very scruffy. I've got a lot of work to do here. This is my next big piece to tidy up. That's me. So it looks scruffy. I've got to prune the roses. There's a dandelion down there that I need to dig out. But there are late rose flowers. Hi, Carla. Great to see you. Got a single rose flower. This is a fairly miserable rose, really. It's a cutting I'd planted, and after it had taken 10 years to just be a stick, I realised that it must have been something that needed to be grafted onto a strong stock. But I don't know, I've never pulled it out. And this, I never get tired of this. It is a fuchsia, but it's this beautiful flame red vermilion. It's gorgeous. And I'm doing this little garden tour because I have to wait for this video to get established on Facebook, and then my husband shares it out around the world, because there are people who like to come on if they see it. And of course this is Compassion Rose, and isn't it glorious? And so I take a little tour around the garden and show you what's flowering, and you have to imagine the beautiful scent of these flowers, because there's a really nice rose. And see, there are flutterbys flitting around the place. They've gone off camera. But the neighbours' blue hydrangeas are there, and, well, this is a so-called real fuchsia. This one really looks... Oh, it fell off. This is a fuchsia flower that just fell off. Isn't it fabulous? So there they are dangling. There's just about no wind. And we have Japanese anemones, the pink thingies. But if I come in here, look, the leucolia is just fab. There, we've got focus now. It's beautiful, this plant. It's always kind of scraggly, but these are big flowers. I mean, there's my hand. Hang on, sunshine. There's my hand, and the flowers are big, and they smell so good. Just the most fabulous thing. Look at the little details around the centre there. Oh, I can smell them from here. This is beautiful. So, and then you have these fabulous leaves, which have the red vein along the back, and that beautiful texture, and the sun comes through them. I really do enjoy this plant. So, this is the corner which is nicest in the fall, as you call it if you're in the States. But in New Zealand we call it autumn. And let me just show you the blue sky up through the cherry tree. And the silence. Oh, it's beautiful. And while we're here, I'll show you this commelina. It's actually called spiderwort, or is it a monkeywort? I can't remember which. Come on, give me some focus. There we go. Isn't that glorious? It is a really, truly blue flower. And they only last today, so now's the time to see them in lunchtime, and by the evening they'll have withered up, and you get these little seed things in here. And I decided to let them sort of grow in here because, yes, I need to prune these off. But these ones are a little bit fresher. You really can't tell how beautiful they are because they get destroyed by insects. But you go right into the middle and you can see the lovely designs and colours, and they smell really good. So, that's today outside. Got the little highlight. This is the best corner in the garden at the moment, even though it's not actually a corner. It's the favourite plants that just keep on doing beautiful things. And now I'm going to go inside and tell you what I've been writing this morning for God of me. And it really is about how on earth heaven, earth, the sky, the sea, whatever it is, that we keep ourselves stuck in the same old life and we bust our ass trying to change and nothing changes. And it's like, why? What am I doing wrong? And many times we think it must be, well, I mean, obviously it's us, because nobody creates my life except me. Excuse me, I've got to hang my head up here. I get to say that. I hang my head up. So it's true. We really do, in various ways, in various layers, at various times, create our own lives. We really do. But now that we're here in 3D, we're having this human experience, and we want to change, and we try, and we do this, and we do that, and nothing changes. It's like, what the hell? Why? And so this is really what God of me is about. It's about me being God of me, because I don't want to be God of anyone else. I just want to be God of me. And what I have been writing about for at least, is it 2 years? No. About 18 months. I don't know. No, it's been longer. It has been about 2 years. What I've been writing about since I started, I got this crazy idea, is this, and what I've learned that it takes for me to change, and in particular making this information available to people who'll never be able to access it anyway unless it's free. And like I say, it's a mad idea. But what I've been explaining in the last few weeks is this weird, simple, very obvious, and actually very everyday thing called entrainment. And this is the reason why things don't change. But unless you know what entrainment is and how it works, you're thinking, what? So entrainment, there's a great example, and I spoke about this in detail last week. There's a video on the interweb, on YouTube. If you go to YouTube and you search for 32 metronome synchronization, it will come up. It's about 4 minutes and 36 seconds, if I remember rightly. And you see this table with 4 rows of 8 metronomes in a row, and these hands coming from either side, and they just set them to ticking. You know, a metronome goes tick-tock, tick-tock, and makes a steady beat for a musician to play along to if they want a steady beat. That's the thing. And what you see over this 4.5 minutes is that they're all over the place, and by the end of the 4.5 minutes, they're all swinging together. And how does that work? And that is entrainment. That process of going from chaos to order is actually entrainment. And for that to happen, you've got to have something, more than one something actually. You're going to have at least 2, but you can have whole groups of things that are oscillating. So they're going to be going backwards and forwards or round and round or something. And they've got to be doing that together, and they've got to be in close enough proximity that the waves that they put out into the immediate environment around them can actually interfere. And the interference pattern that those waves make, don't get lost just because they sound like physics, is actually what pushes and shoves them from being all over the place to working together. So this is it's really fundamental physics. But what we don't realize is that it applies to us every moment that we are alive. And this is what I've been working to explain and to unpack and to put together for the last little while. And it's interesting because I had an appointment this morning and it ran a bit late, and I thought, okay, less time for writing. I thought, no, I'm just going to relax with this. And it was enough to do what I wanted to do, to actually finish off this entrainment piece. And I'm quite excited about that because of what's coming next. But I actually was just sitting there. All right, I did a little bit. I did something. I kind of finished it. And I stood up and I said, wow, this is amazing. Not because I wrote it, but because it's amazing information. And if we just understand how we're doing this to ourselves, it is wow. So entrainment is that process whereby things, if you make a clap or if you have a metronome that's ticking, it puts out a sound wave, and that sound wave really in the air is just like a wave that's in the water. You see it going along as a ripple. And when you have more than one of them, if they're heading towards each other, sooner or later they're going to get together and they're going to interfere with each other. And if you want more detail on that, listen to last week's video. It's not very far down my Oneness Evolving feed because I put it there earlier this morning as a kind of a, hello, I'm going to be going live today. So that is what happens with the metronomes. But what we don't realise is that we are metronomes too. And we are putting out waveforms, we are putting out waves, we are putting out things that do this, only it's a bit more complex because we are more complex beings than just something that's making a wave, dropping a pebble in water. We are doing that. And how do we do it? We do it by having a thought about something and by having a feeling about it. And if you have a thought and a feeling about anything often enough, it becomes like a thing that you don't even know that you're thinking the thought, and you actually don't even realize you're feeling the feeling. It just becomes normal. It's who you are. But like the metronome just carries on ticking, carries on going ping, 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 you are putting out that waveform, just like a metronome. And it's a waveform that is a composite of whatever you're thinking and feeling at the time. And so if you, for example, really simple example, if you are hungry and you can't get something to eat, you are going to have a thought about that, which is, oh God, I'm hungry and I haven't got any food and I feel, yeah, and see immediately, and then I feel so bad, my stomach hurts, I feel tired, I need some food. And all of those thoughts and all of those feelings are very real, justified, absolutely logical, totally, totally sensible. But if that thing that you keep on feeling, for example, is, I'm angry at that person, 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 tick, tock, and you keep on putting that out just like the metronomes, it keeps on ticking and talking, and you are resonating, you are pushing out waveforms that are equivalent to this thing that you don't even know you're thinking and feeling all the time anymore, because it's just who you are, because they did something nasty to you 15 years ago and you've never forgotten it. And you even think that you're over it, but you're not, because if somebody says to you, what happened to you 15 years ago, and you talk about it, the whole thing comes really alive to you, and you think, my God, I still hate their guts, or my God, I'm still scared to death of them, or whatever it was. So it's still actually alive in you, and to some degree or another, but I'm talking about the things that we feel all the time, and often don't know that we feel all the time. We are pushing out those waveforms all the time. And just like the metronomes, they keep on ticking, they keep on talking, and they start to interfere with each other, and they begin to entrain. If you watch the video, you see 2 or 3 of them suddenly, it's, oh my God, they're all swinging together, and everything else is still disorganized. But the more they start working together, the stronger the waveform they put out together, and it entrains more of the metronomes, and the entrainment spreads. And it spreads and it spreads until everybody is dancing to the same rhythm in the same way. And if we are like a metronome and we keep putting out the same feeling over and over and over and over and over and, again, do you think that maybe it's going to entrain some of what's around us to be the same as what we're feeling? And this is an oh my God for me, because I wish I'd understood that 40 years ago. I didn't. I started to understand it 3 or 4 years ago. Not nearly as clearly as I do now, because I've made the effort to unpack it for myself and for you. And it's like, oh my God, whatever I most commonly think and feel, that's what I'm putting out into my life, and that is entraining my life into the shape that it is. And until I change what I most commonly think and feel, it's just going to keep doing that. To me, that's an OMFG moment. Because it can be really hard to to change what we most commonly think and feel all the time, particularly when we don't realise that we commonly think and feel it. You know that person that maybe you know that's just always really bitter? And they just think it's normal. They don't even know that they're bitter. Or the person that it doesn't matter what you do, they're always just really sad and really low, and it's kind of like you can't, it's like they're committed to it. But when you ask them how they are, they say, oh, I'm fine. We don't realise, because it's become so normal to us. It's like wallpaper. What do you mean the wallpaper's got a design on it? I haven't seen that design for 20 years. We're just used to being who we're being, but what we don't realise is that who we are usually being is creating our world for us in every single moment we are alive. And to me, that's an oh my God moment. That's an oh my God. And it means that when I catch myself thinking and feeling something that I don't want to, it's not just, oh, that's unpleasant. But the fundamental understanding, not, oh my God, that's bad, you know. And the thing is, by the way, you notice it took some time for those metronomes to entrain. You have a bad thought, a bad feeling, you lose your rag, you bite someone's head off, whatever, spit down their neck. That does not mean that your thought, feeling, whatever is going to manifest immediately. It doesn't work that way. Entrainment generally takes time. The only reason, if it happens instantaneously, is because something really strong, like a tornado. When a tornado comes by, it entrains everything into its vortex. There's no argument. It's so powerful. Most of us are not that good. Most of us, it's this ongoing thing of who we're thinking, feeling, and being all the time. And hi, folks. It's lovely to see you all. I don't know who you are, but it's lovely to have you with me. This is just how it works. And I'm feeling gratitude today because I didn't know how I was going to make this so clear. But it is clear now. And if you would like to hear me read what I've been talking about, what I've been writing about this morning, this beautiful explanation, it's beautiful to me. You may think differently. I think it's beautiful. I love it because it makes such sense to me. I'm going to be reading this onto a video and I'm going to upload that onto my Patreon, and the link is in the description below here. And if you'd like to hear what I've written so that you can hear how it works, because this is explaining it, this is it, folks, then all you need to do is go to my Patreon and follow me for free. And then you can also listen to me read the bit that I wrote the week before and the bit that I wrote the week before. All of that is there on my Patreon and it's available for free. If you decide that you really like what I'm doing, you can support me, and then you get access to what I call Inside Insights, which are actually from my journey, changing who I'm thinking and feeling and being all the time. And you know, can we change matter with our minds? How does that work? What am I learning? What am I struggling with? What am I going through? And it's not I did this, I went into this deep dark place. I don't want to do that. But I love to share my, oh my God, I never knew, or wow, that was an amazing experience I had. So that's what the Inside Insights are about. And it doesn't cost much. If you'd like to support me, I would be delighted to see you there. If you've got questions or comments, I love to hear from you, because this whole thing that I just wrote today came because one of my beautiful followers asked me a question. She said, well, this is really cool, and now you need to write about how it looks in real life. And I thought, my God, you're so right. So I did that. And that's what this explanation is. Because, you know, to explain entrainment, okay, you watch the metronomes, fine, and it takes time, and, you know, it comes and it goes. Because we're not like a tornado, right? So often when you want to create something in your life, hi, Mike, you know, you think about it and then you forget about it, or you take a few steps and then you get discouraged and you think, no, damn it, I'm going to do it anyway. And you go again and you try some more and you get a bit better at it. And this is just like what happens with the metronomes. You know, we get beat up a bit by life. Hi, And we have to make continued choices to keep going and saying, okay, I have had enough of being miserable all the time and feeling miserable all the time and thinking those thoughts about how rotten everything is and so on and so forth. And that's great. You make a decision. But then you actually have to figure out what thoughts you've been thinking for the last 23 years or 6 months or whenever it was. And think, oh God, I've been thinking that. I didn't even know I was thinking that. Hell, my life looks a lot like that thought, if I'm really honest. I mean, you have to get honest with yourself and you actually have to stop beating yourself up too. This is not about beating yourself up and saying, oh, you're useless and no. It's just, oh, you've been thinking that way for a long time, bud. Huh. Well, what would a different thought be that would be a bit more supportive of what I want to create? You know, if I've been pushing out this thought of, shit, I can't do this, I'm no good at this is impossible, you know, whatever. Hi, Dorian. Well, and the very thing of having your feelings and thoughts changing all the time, we actually have the choice to say, okay, so yes, I do feel different every day, but actually, how do I want to feel and what do I want to think? And let me just choose one or two of each, and if you have to, write them down. And then when you find yourself being driven by the winds of whatever it is that you know, pushes you off course, you've got a thing you want to create, but you're not going in that direction. Some days I'm just not going in that direction. I think, hang on a minute, I've got to turn this ship around. Wait a moment, what was it I wanted to think? My brain is over there doing something really ugly. I've noticed that it's doing something really ugly. Well, hold on, what were those thoughts I decided this morning that I wanted to think instead? Can I find just one of them? And it can be really hard because my brain is so busy doing that thing over there, which I've done for the last 25 years without even knowing it. So for me to consciously first notice it, oh my God, that's awesome. If I just notice that I'm doing that thing and I don't want to, but I'm doing it, and then I manage to think, wait a minute, I want to think something else. What was that? And I have to go digging sometimes because my brain is so busy firing some other set of synapses and I don't want to do that, but it's really stuck there. So I don't have to go, oh, wait a minute, and I may have to look at what I wrote to try and figure that out. And then, okay, that's a better thought. And how on earth did I want to feel? Oh, I didn't want to feel desperate and afraid. Oh, shit, how would it feel just to feel neutral or to feel calm? You know, sometimes I don't go for the big stuff. Sometimes this is too hard. Just bring it back to neutral or calm or peaceful or whatever. And to make some small attempt to move myself towards that space. And I've spent plenty of time doing exactly that because it was all I could do. But it was better than staying with what I knew and what was ordinary and, you know, let's just stay here. It's too hard to change. But that's why I spent such a lot of time unpacking why it's hard to change, what's going on when it feels hard, and understanding that the body is just saying, I'm used to feeling like this and I'm used to thinking like this and don't you dare ask me to change because it's an effort, but it can. The first thing is to understand, 1, that it's possible, and 2, that you can do it, and 3, to realise that you are doing it and that you have choice. And if we keep on doing that, and this is the part that takes time, and this is why it's challenging, and this is why not everybody does it, because it's way easier to just keep on thinking and feeling and pushing out the same information into our universe that says, I'm upset, I'm upset, I'm upset, I'm upset. And so you entrain, you and I, we entrain our lives into a life where we are upset. That is why we stay stuck. Because we think that we feel upset because of what happened out there. No. I mean, what happened out there really did upset us. It did. You know, some terrible things happened to people. I'm not denying that for a moment. But There is research that shows that 50% of our long-term memories are actually made up. So we can be staying in the memory of something that half of it didn't even happen, and we can embellish what did happen. We can make it worse because it becomes our personality and our identity, and all the time we are ticking and talking and pushing out that message to everything around us. It says, this is how I am. Please reflect this back to me. We just don't know that we're doing it. And so our world continues to entrain to who we are being. And we can change it. We just have to become conscious about it. We have to realize, oh my God, this is who I'm being. What am I thinking? What am I feeling? And what are my actions? What am I actually doing? You know, I mean, I'm sure we've all done this. I'm sure I have done this. In fact, I remember it. Being a small person, I remember being pissed off with one of my sisters, I don't know, 7 or 8 or something. And I can't even remember why I was angry with her, but she was in the lounge practicing her musical instrument, and I was around the rest of the house making all this noise because I was angry that she was there and I wasn't, or something. I don't know, I wanted to do something else. And I remember her asking me, why are you being so nasty to me? Which was unusual for her, but she did, why are you being so horrible? It's like, and I didn't know. I just got stuck in that feeling. I had no idea by then why I was being a nasty little person. And most of us, we just don't realize we get stuck in something. We've had a reaction and we never find a way to move out of it. And that's not denying that some things that happen to people are traumatic and we get jammed in those things because the nervous system gets completely overwhelmed with information it can't process. And of course people get stuck. And then, they walk into the room and you think, oh, it's that person and they're going to be miserable and sad and they're a victim and all of that. And you totally understand why, but it's still really heavy. It's because they're pushing out that waveform of their trauma and it entrains. And so it's every day, everywhere, all the time. That person that, in your workplace, if you have one of those people in your workplace that you just can't stand, there's something about you and about them that's interfering and bouncing off each other and going, yeah. It's kind of a disentrainment, but it creates that unpleasant feeling that you have between you. And also that there is some kind of entrainment going on because there's an information exchange. The information is that you don't like each other or you feel uncomfortable with each other, but there's some kind of entrainment going on. This is really practical. And it still boils down to saying, okay, I feel really uncomfortable, unpleasant with that person, or I hate their guts. But what am I thinking and what am I feeling and what am I doing and what would I rather think and feel and do instead, because I need to put out a different set of information into the universe if I want my life to change. This is why entrainment is so critical to understand. And I'm doubly excited because this is the end of the module. I realize it's like I've been writing a module about this is how matter comes out of the field. This is how something comes out of nothing. There is all this raw energy in the 0 point field, and something with an awareness, it can be you or me, or it can be something else, entrains it into matter. And we entrain the matter of our lives into the shape of our lives, and we entrain ourselves into our habits and everything. And you got to understand that, if you want to create something out of nothing, you have to understand that this is how matter is created, and this is how, and this is science, by the way. I'm a real science geek, and I've explained it because I like to understand things, not to the nth degree it gets too complicated, and I'm not a physicist, but I'm learning from physicists. So entrainment is really big to understand and to realize that every single moment that we're alive, we're entraining our lives into the shape that we have. And if we want a different life, we have to do something different ourselves and be and feel and think differently. And that's the challenge, because we try to change and we just think, oh, I want to think differently, I want to think positive. But inside, we are vibing, we are resonating, we are the metronome that says, I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't do it. And most of, 95% of who you are is in this part. The 5% of you that says, I'm positive about this, is no way as powerful as the 95% of you that says, I can't do it. I'm useless, or whatever. And so you got to have these working together, and that means becoming conscious of what the 95% is doing and thinking and feeling all the time. And you're not noticing, because you're just up in here. So, that's my rave about entrainment. I'm very excited because next week I'm going to be starting on a brand new module, which finally, I've no idea what it's going to look like, but it's about how do you change? I mean, practical stuff. I mean, okay, I've got all this great information about how this works. Let's do something with it. And I'm really curious to see how that unfolds. So join me on Patreon if you would like to hear me read what I have just spoken about, because I think it's pretty cool and I think you'll find it worthwhile. And thank you so much for sharing this time with me. I will be back next week with more, something new. It's time for the next module. Until then, big love.